All right, it's game day. This is a little unique thing. We're going to get ready. We don't typically do pregame shows. We're typically at the stadium. We're getting it ready. But the lines are open. The link is at the top. If you want to weigh in, just briefly type in the private chat what you want to get into, Chiefs fan, Texans fan, whatever, and we'll talk about it. But right now, the line is at 9. I'm going to put an imaginary gun to your head, Cody, and I'm going to ask you, book your bets. Where are you at? Where do you think the Texans keep this close? If you had to make a bet, 9 points, where are you at?
Yeah, the 9 points feels like a lot for a defense that's playing as well as the Texans is right now. So while I don't have an extreme amount of confidence in the offense, the defense has played well enough that this game could absolutely be within 9 points. And when you look at what the Chiefs have done over the course of the season, and I get this is the playoffs off of a rest when they were an injured team that needed the rest. So, I understand this isn't the rest of the regular season, but they have not won a tremendous amount of games by 10 points or more over the course of this season. And they have not had big blow you out performances against much lesser defenses than what they're playing today with the Texans. So with the Texans defense and the hope that the offense has a little spark carried over from last week, I would take the Texans plus the points. 9 points is a lot. I get that it's the Chiefs and they're basically Superman in the divisional round, but 9 points is too many for me. I would take the +9.
See, if you put a gun in my head, I'm taking. I'm probably giving the points just because I have such little confidence in this offense, and quite frankly, the big news just kind of has me questioning this thing as well, because Aaron Wilson is reporting, and we'll see if this happens or not. There's been times where Aaron has nailed it. There's been times where it's kind of been like, yeah, I don't know that he was right about that, specifically on injuries. Shaq Mason going right back and getting his starting job that's an interesting choice to me. There are some guys that, I think when they get hurt, they naturally get their position back. I just didn't know that Shaq Mason was one of those guys. I'm not going to sit here and act like the offensive line has been elite or anything like that, but I thought that maybe you just keep this thing going instead of just giving Shaq Mason his spot back with no questions asked.
This pisses me off. Like, this is dumb. This is a guy who was playing poorly before he was benched, or excuse me, before he got hurt. Probably should have been benched at different times this season. And now coming off of a month where he hasn't he's had 1.5 practices. Like the the last practice of the week's kind of a half practice. He's had 1.5 practices. Shaq Mason is not going to have any rust against the Kansas City Chiefs. Come on. Like, I don't agree with this. I feel like this is the wrong move for this offensive line. I went through the Pro Football Focus ratings and all the grades and stuff like that this week. And yes, in the previous 2 games, the full games that Shaq played, he graded out better than Juice Scruggs at right guard. The whole offensive line, though, is better when Shaq Mason's not in there. And so I don't agree with this. I don't like this. It's very annoying that they're doing this. And I'll never listen to this offensive room ever talk about continuity ever again when it comes to the offensive line with the way that they've moved and swapped and changed and adjusted things. And now this. Juice is healthy. And, maybe the ankle's worse than they've let on, but, it's not like he was questionable or doubtful when it comes to the injury report. Juice Scruggs is there. They should be playing him at right guard, not Shaq Mason. I hate this.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the direction that it appears they're going. Aaron is saying it, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that whole thing goes. Open lines, if you want to get in. We're taking you up to probably a little bit before 3:00. If you want to get in. Looks like we got Cam waiting to get in. We'll get to him in a sec. We're waiting for the inactives as well. What are we looking for when it comes to the inactives? I don't anticipate Joe Mixon being inactive. I guess Robert Woods, we'll keep a close eye on there. Don't really anticipate that as well. So that really where we're at.
Mixon and Woods would be the only two like, oh crap names that show up on the inactives where you'd be like, that are close to maybe even being under consideration for inactive. But I don't anticipate either of those names being on there. Like we talked about yesterday, Mixon looked fine walking around, getting ready to get on the bus and leave, and looked like he was moving okay on the ankle. Now, obviously, walking to the bus is different than playing in Kansas City, but you'd have to cut Joe Mixon's leg off at the hip to keep him out of this game, probably. I mean, even if he had a nub over there on the ankle, like he'd probably still try to go. If he's rolling around like Kerry Von Erich with a wooden foot, he'd still try to go,
Yeah, let's go to Cam. Cam is there. He's got a lot going on up there. Cam, what's up?
Landry, I don't know what this background is, but they just threw it on me. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna roll with it.
Cam's all bricked up for the game.
Hey, I'm super excited. You can see by the background. That's how I'm moving. That's how I'm moving nowadays. I didn't want to come in here and say too much, but the defense, we got to show out today, and CJ has to play his game. But one of the most things I want to say that I'm scared about is I was on Twitter, and I love talking a little. I love talking a little shit, and I've gotten into some trouble with some Jags fans, so I might not be on Twitter after today if we lose. I'm just letting that be known. But I love the streams, y'all. And I just want to say I appreciate y'all. I love what y'all do. And go Texas, man. That's all I want to say, man.
There you go. Yeah, Jags fans should probably sit this one out, I would say.
Well, Jags fans try to put people's addresses on the internet sometimes. So,
Yeah. So we got the we got the Jags fans being mentioned. They're just kind of chilling. I think this is going to be a game where we'll know early how it's going to go. I do want to see how Kansas City's going to attack the Texans defense. What are they going to try to do? Who are they going to try to get involved early? Is there going to be a Hollywood Brown? Is it going to be Worthy? How are they going to attack? I think that's kind of something to keep an eye on as well with this. But I think this is going to be one of those games where you have kind of a sense pretty early of how it's going to go and what the result's going to be.
I would think Kansas City's approach is steal a page from D'Amico Ryans when he talks about opposing teams. Yeah, we don't care what they do. We're going to do what we do. Just find guys in space. Like the Texans have allowed teams to operate in space. So the Chiefs have plenty of weapons to go out there and go try to find a guy in space. Trying to account for Travis Kelce and whoever's in the slot is pretty difficult for the Texans when you think about Kamari outside and Derek Stingley outside. So Miles Bryant, one of the linebackers in coverage, things like that. Like Kansas City's got to go find space, and eventually they've got a play or an adjustment to finding some of that space. They hit a big play on you, and their offensive line won a lot of their one-on-one matchups last time. So I don't know that they just fully, wholly, totally trust it to go out there and win them again. I wouldn't, because this defensive line feels like it's playing a lot better than it was the last time.
If they do that, then they're doing you a favor. I think if they're going to play the Texans the way they did then, and Will Anderson banged up, he's a lot more fresh now. You'll see Hunter. You're going to see a full allotment of the front seven. Aziz is going to be behind them. We'll see what they do with Christian Harris. If they're going to block the Texans front seven the way they did last time, that could be, I don't want to say a recipe for disaster, because I think they're probably pretty good at figuring things out like on the go. But if they're going to do that, I think that would be, I'll just say, a little bit of a mistake. And it would be very uncharacteristic for Andy Reid to not be able to look past last game and realize that that's probably not the approach you want today.
Well, it gives you a window. It gives you a window to maybe take some advantage if they do go out there and they do try to just leave those five guys on an island against your four-man rush, because there should be some success if that's the case by the Texans defensive line. If the Chiefs are going to go with last time's blocking plan, you're probably going to need some extra on Anderson or Hunter from time to time if you're the Chiefs. And look, they got a couple of running backs that aren't afraid to go up there and mix it up. I mean, go in there and throw a chip or throw a pass block at one of these guys. So they're not afraid to do that. Kelce, maybe not as prolific and physical as he used to be, but they've got the other tight ends that can go in there and get nasty from a blocking standpoint as well. So that will be fascinating to see how they handle the defensive line. And if at any point D'Amico Ryans feels like he needs to dial up a little bit of extra pressure too.
We have the inactives, and this one's really weird. And this is, I don't know what to make of this. I guess Robert Woods is going to play, and they had him tested out, and he's going to go out there and play. But this is a little bit interesting when we look at the inactives. And I saw your immediate reaction to it. I anticipate that you're probably looking at this in a weird way for the same reason that I am when it comes to the Texans inactives.
Yeah, so your inactives for the Texans, Devin White, who's been inactive when they've had the full linebacker room, Jerry Hughes, who's been inactive when they've had the full defensive line room, Kendrick Green, which it makes sense. You've got depth at guard with Mason back. Nick Broker, he's been inactive when they've had this alignment. Kurt Heinisch. They promote J.J. Taylor from the practice squad and then make J.J. Taylor inactive? That's a curious decision.
Well, it's a curious decision for a number of reasons. First of all, I thought he was kind of insurance perhaps for Robert Woods at punt return. And I also thought perhaps he was insurance for Joe Mixon's ankle that you talked about. So their whole like elevation and designation game is really weird to me.
It's
not like a significant thing. It's just if that's how you function there, it's really, really weird. I don't understand this.
Okay, sure. All right, that's fine. I mean, look, maybe they use both elevations, or maybe they use the J.J. Taylor elevation as just pure insurance. They showed up. Joe Mixon's good to go. Robert Woods good to go. Sorry, J.J., sit down. But, okay, all right, sure. I mean, J.J. Taylor being active, and it shouldn't change the game. So, but Joe Mixon, active. Robert Woods, active. They're going to play, and apparently their insurance policy is unnecessary.
I don't feel like they do a very good job with their practice squad and with their elevations. And I don't know.
I like Beck being up as helping you with the run blocking.
Yeah, sure. But they cut him, dude. Like that's the other thing. Like the guy that you cut for all these like this yo-yo shit you've been playing all year. Like the guy that you cut, you all of a sudden bring back. And all of a sudden, like, it makes sense for him being up. That kind of adds to my whole thing. Like, I don't know what they're doing there.
He should have been back the moment Brevin Jordan was down for the year.
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about. And then he gets back, and it's like kind of a no-brainer that he's doing what he's got to do.
Yeah. So I mean, they're very strange with how they use the elevations. Sometimes they make sense, sometimes they don't, and J.J. Taylor, wouldn't you at least have Taylor just in case somebody gets banged up in the running back or return situation? Okay, that's fine.
Well, I mean, he was in the punt return line this week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what if Robert Woods all of a sudden doesn't feel good in the middle of the game because of a big hit or this or that?
Which is a big possibility.
Yeah. But hey, they want to go into this game with 52 guys on the roster, 2 elevations, sit one of the elevation and not use the full game day roster. Be my guest. It won't matter if they go out there and get a victory.
I guess it won't matter. I mean, I think it would still be weird.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Robert Woods all of a sudden an Iron Man that can play through anything.
Yeah, this is weird. I'll be honest with you. This is a weird one to me. I don't quite get it, but that's just kind of where they're at.
At least there's only one weird inactive. They could have a multiple and be like, what the hell? At least there's only one.
I was surprised Erickson wasn't there. So yeah, J.J. Taylor gone.
Well, hell, if they'd promoted Erickson, they might have sat him, you know? So who knows? Very strange.
I mean, maybe they anticipated that Woods wasn't going to play and he went out there and ran around. I don't know. Kind of feels like you just have a better sense of that.
I don't know why you wouldn't have him there as an insurance policy in case Robert Woods gets hurt. I just don't. That's where it doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to find the name that I'd sit instead. And like, I guess it's tough to find that other name because you only get 48 for game day. I mean, I would just, yeah, strange. Okay.
Like, would today be a nice day to have Cam Akers? Like, if we're just thinking about it, like, would today be a nice day? Like, if we just look at the cuts, and again, this is low level stuff. So, I mean, we're not. This isn't like, hey, you traded DeAndre Hopkins or something like that. So we're talking pretty low level stuff. But I mean, like, so you cut Andrew Beck at the start of the year. Okay. You cut Noah Brown at the start of the year. Okay. Ended up getting hurt. So whatever.
Probably justified with the amount of time he was injured this year.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know about that. You
can't. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. The guy's hurt in training camp. He gets hurt in the regular season. They're probably thinking, well, we didn't make a mistake there.
Okay, so then you keep Steven Sims maybe longer than you would think. You get rid of him, then you bring him back, and now at this point, it almost feels like this would be a good time to have Steven Sims. Because you have all these uncertain guys at wide receiver and you have all this uncertainty at punt returning. Hell, you just signed Erickson. And, oh, by the way, Baltimore thought enough of him to immediately start him at return man. And now he's gone. It just – Cam Akers is playing for the Vikings. Joe Mixon's banged up. You don't trust Dameon Pierce. It just seems like the way in which they handle those things is just really, really weird. And here's my other question, like, if Shaq Mason is going to start, whose decision do you think that is? Is that a D'Amico? Is that a Bobby? Is that a like who do you think decides? Okay, Shaq Mason, we got to start him. Assuming that that's what's going to happen.
I would think that's Bobby Slowick with D'Amico Ryan's blessings. I mean, Bobby's in charge of the offense. I mean, D'Amico's doesn't strike me as the type of guy that's going to walk in there and say, "Well, we got to start Shaq."
Here's the other thing. Do you think Shaq Mason even finishes this game? I mean, you've seen the way he's moving. Like, do you really think Shaq Mason even finishes this game?
I mean,
like, there's probably a decent chance that you're putting the guy that was in front of him before right back out there in front of him.
Well,
I think there's a better than decent chance that you're doing that.
I'd be fine with that.
But I mean, you're going to it. Let's go back to the lines. Justin's up. What's up, Justin? What's up, man?
What's happening, man? I ain't finna hold y'all. I just got a question. Ain't nobody said nothing about it, but y'all remember earlier on in the season, right? CJ Stroud was talking about Derek Stingley being the like most athletic person he ever played with, right? What do we see at Derek Stingley package tonight?
Hey, I wanted him to return punts. He averaged 11 at LSU. Little Stingley action.
It'd be one hell of a time to bring it out, the divisional round.
Hey, I remember when
we need it most.
I remember when Dion had a reverse touchdown against the Eagles, man. Bring him out there, run a little reverse, let him do his thing. Why not?
That's all I got, though. I'm going to get up out of here, y'all.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. Biggest playmaker. Get the ball in the playmaker's hands. I mean, time on that.
It from a what the hell are they doing standpoint, I do imagine the Kansas City defense would be like.
That was a sick hat, by the way. A lot of love for the hat in there.
Well, that's Derek Stingley. What's he doing on the field? It's like maybe you get a little extra attention over there. You get something going on the other side of the field because they're paying attention to Stingley because they think he's going to get the ball. My question would be, do you trust this offensive staff to put something together like that?
No, I don't even trust them to use their own dudes, man.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I'd be a little skeptical of them effectively using offensive playmaker Derek Stingley.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone for coming through. We're getting ready for the game with you. Big news, Shaq Mason expected to start per Aaron Wilson. If Aaron Wilson's wrong on that, Cody Stoots says that Aaron Wilson's dead to him.
That's not what I said.
Neither one of us quite understand
I would disavow Aaron Wilson going forward.
That's
Like
kind of
when-
dead to you, right? If you're disavowing and moving forward, that's dead to you, right?
I mean, I'll wave at him. I'll say hello, but I can't go on his reporting anymore if he gets.
So he's on a word limit with you.
Well, he kind of already is.
Why did these linemen tell everybody everything is the other thing that I wonder. Like, for how paranoid, like this
for Nick Caserio's level of paranoia and the ability to plug leaks in that place, the linemen sure like to talk.
They love to talk. They don't like to talk publicly, but they like to talk privately. Like, it's kind of interesting. Like, there does seem to be a lot of information, and it always seems to center around the position group that frustrates people the most, which I think is interesting. I think Dime's on. I think he's in witness protection. So, Dime, go ahead.
Fellas, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, yeah, no camera on my home computer. I got one on my work laptop, but I'm not going to set it up. But hey, thanks for all the content. I've been watching you guys every day. It's awesome. I just want to say this game, I think, is going to live and die by our D line. I got a 2.5-year-old daughter, a 4-month-old son, Landry. I know you got a small one. Both of them decked out in Texans drip today. Trying to avoid any offseason talk no matter what happens. I'm on Team Landry. I do want a running back. I think it's the era of good vibes and all my faith in D'Amico and Nick. I'm pretty pumped.
There you go. There you go. And that's a good point, Diamond. Shout out to you, man. I'm about to be where you're at. I'm kind of in between. I'm in 16 months. You got the 4 and the 2. So we're kind of right in between, although you got the dub trub. That is kind of the real thing, to where you can't, like, at this point, nothing they can do on offense is like gonna like throw your hands up and be like, oh my God, this is like, it's the defense. Like, your hope is the defense. So, like, they can elevate this guy. They cannot elevate that guy. We can talk about how confusing it is. And I think that's kind of like that's just kind of like confusion of like a small scale thing that could reach out. But in like the immediate, like an hour and a half from now thing, the hopes rests on the defense. So whatever the hell they do on offense, it's not going to be something to where you're just going to lose your mind, because that's just kind of where they're at. All the hope is on the defense.
Yeah, the defense has to be the story today if they're going to get a victory. If they're going to keep this thing close, the defense has to be a story. Like, it's not out of the question that they could force the Chiefs into a few more kicks than a few more touchdowns, and the offense cobbles something together and they get it going. Like, it's not out of the question. But staying competitive or winning this game, it's out of the question if the defense doesn't go out there and make a bunch of plays.
Yeah, and I mean, the defense can make it easier for the offense. That's the beauty of this, is that, you know, the defense can make their job the job easier of the offense. It's almost like if you're running a 4x100 meter thing, and let's say someone is 0.5 seconds faster on the second leg. If the first leg just gets out to like a 0.3 second lead, then you just need them to elevate a little bit more. So that's kind of where it is. It's just kind of a cause effect. Like, there's no possibility. Like, I always find it funny when we're watching basketball and like there's a player that probably sucks, but you're like, man, this guy should get more time. And Ba Mute, back when the Rockets, like, oh, Ba Mute needs more time, or Ryan Anderson. Why didn't they play Ryan Anderson? It's like, did it really matter? Like, that's kind of how I am with the offense. Like, there's no like, we can point to little things, but there's nothing like significant that they can do. Although I will say, getting Joe Mixon involved in the pass game is the one realistic thing that I think they can do that could actually change the game. And it was really discouraging this week, or encouraging, I don't know how you want to look at it, for Bobby Slowick to tell me when I asked about it, yeah, it was something that we really worked at in camp and we've kind of gone away from it. But yeah, I think he's a badass pass catcher.
Yep.
What? So at least he knows. Like, at least he knows. But if he knows,
trying to keep him fresh.
Is it?
Trying to keep him fresh.
For what?
I mean, a couple of wins down a couple of extra wins down the stretch of the season would have done you well, but it's what it is.
Yeah. How did you?
Yeah,
we make of that?
We knew that was a good piece of his game. We just haven't used it. Oh, okay. Sure.
Well, you must be really confident in your pass catchers then, right?
Yeah,
No, everyone's hurt.
not quite. Not quite.
Yeah, it's a weird. That was one of the. I mean, it wasn't weird because Bobby's kind of been. I think Bobby might frustrate you more than me.
Well, he has some just inexplicable answers, and he's lied at the podium this year. So
About the stats.
yeah, like he got the, like, and again, you can parse and adjust the stats however you want, but like, oh, we're one of the best screen teams in football. Are you? I mean, you're like top 10, but you're not
The
one
one
of the
good
best.
screen they had, I think the most frustrating stretch of screen and bubble screens, I would say this year, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was in the first half of the Chiefs game where I think they ran like 3 bubs that were just awful. And then as everyone's bitching, myself included, about how crappy these screens are, they threw like a perfect one at the bottom of the screen to Mixon that I think got like 16 yards.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, well, there's one. Oh,
Yeah.
and it happened to go to 28 instead of the other guys that you were throwing it to.
Yeah, and like, I mean, they threw screens to Nico in the last Chiefs game. They just didn't go anywhere. They went for negative yards. Like, oh yeah, and then the week after when he was asked about it, he's like, yeah, we actually pretty good. We didn't execute. Like, the worst thing that can happen is an incomplete pass. Well, no, actually, the worst thing can happen is you go negative yards. Which is exactly what happened.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Be my guest.
So what do they consider explosives? Because I've heard like multiple definitions of explosive, but Bobby and D'Amico seem to like hang their hat a lot on the explosives of this squad. What do they consider explosive? Is it the 10 plus, or is it the
widely considered standard for explosive plays is 10 or more yards on a rush play or 15 or more yards on a pass play?
Okay. I don't know why you would hang your hat on that, because a lot of times that's just kind of player driven. Like if you throw it sideways to Nico Collins and he gets 15 yards, is that really like something that you hang your hat on as an OC? Like if Joe Mixon bounces the opposite way of the run and he picks up 12 yards, is that like something that you hang your hat on?
Yeah, there requires like nuance to the explosive plays. Like, are you creating them, or did the other team allow you to get one? And this goes back to something I asked Matt Burke, and it's applicable to offense. I asked him, like, hey, when somebody basically, a wide receiver drops a ball that when they were wide open, like, how do you grade that? How do you coach that? He's like, if we executed the play wrong, we have to coach it regardless of the result. And I would think that applies to offense. Your example, offensive line blocks it horribly to the right side. Joe Mixon bounces it back left, gets you 10 plus yards on a run play. Like, that's not the play ended up successful. The process of the play is wrong. Like, your process is the important part of it.
Yeah, I don't know that they look. I think there's multiple areas where this organization, I'm not trying to get long term. We're trying to get excited for a game, but I think there's like multiple areas where this organization, like in the Caserio era, even before D'Amico, has done a pretty decent job at looking at process over results. I actually think they did an excellent job, even with their coaching hires, where it was like 2 one-year overseers and then you wipe the slate clean. I thought they did a good job, process over results. I actually thought they did a good job with the defense last year, where Grenard and Malik Collins had good years, but there's a certain way that you want to play on the D line. So Daniil Hunter, you get him on a short-term 2-year deal. He's kind of got a different style than Will Anderson, where you don't have where it's like perfect like balance of each other, almost like a seesaw, and less of a long-term commitment. And I thought they did a good job of looking at process over results there. But like on offense, it just doesn't feel like they function the same way with like the process over the results. It's just very dense. It's very black and white. It's weird. There's like some favoritism towards certain guys. There's a lot of like of a blowhard element to it. And I don't understand it. Like, I don't think in any world, if there were the equivalent of Shaq Mason on the Texans D line, and the Texans played, even if it's not awesome, the last few weeks, the way they have without him, I don't think that Shaq Mason is starting on D'Amico Ryan's defense.
I mean, we saw how good you have to be to get your job back immediately once you come back from injury. Foley Fatukasi was awesome last week, and even then, they still were rotating in Tim Settle, Mario Edwards Jr., and everybody else on that defensive tackle situation. Like, the offense, a lot of their stuff this season's been pretty questionable, and their explanations have left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, hell of a lot.
I would be so interested to know, and maybe Woody Johnson's kids ran it and there weren't any good questions asked, but I'd be so interested to know, what are you asking Bobby Slowick if you're the Jets and you're interviewing him for the head coaching job? Like, is it all just, hey, why isn't the offense as good as last year? Like, is that like, that's the first question I ask. Like, how do you answer that?
I mean, you'd probably say injuries. You'd probably say the O-line sucks.
Yeah.
I would think that would be the direction they'd go. But I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Shaq Mason's going to go out there. Does this mean maybe they're going to try to run the ball a little bit more?
I mean, you're going to have to run the ball at some point to avoid second, third and longs, to shorten the game a little bit. More possessions is bad for the Texans. So you need to make each possession count and be successful on them. The more opportunities you give the Chiefs, the worse it's going to be for your defense and the better it's going to be for their offense. So you got to run the ball at some point. Shaq's not good at anything, so I don't know that that's necessarily a sign about they're going to run the ball to the right more or this or that. Like, not like he's moving guys out of the way.
I don't think he finishes the game.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know that he finishes the game, to be honest with you. I mean, I would bet against it. But who knows? And maybe he doesn't even start. Maybe Aaron got tricked. Remember when they thought about making a decision and then they didn't make a decision and then they went back to it? The Kenyon Green thing?
Oh boy. Yeah, that was a weird deal too. So
it was like Texans are going to make a start. Oh wait, they were thinking about it, but they didn't.
It still feels to me like a big mistake to put Mason right back in there. I mean, there's got to be some element of played a crap ton of football. He's in his 30s. He's coming off a knee injury. He's had 2 practices, if you want to call it that. And he's just ready to go instead of Juice Scruggs, who's been playing for a few weeks. Like, well, I don't get it.
What if Juice is playing center? I think that's a possibility too that we really haven't touched on. And we did see that.
Then I will never listen to continuity ever again. I'll never listen to continuity as something that's important for the offensive line ever again. That'll be a banned word. I'll add that. That'll be the 8th word you can't say on broadcast television. Continuity.
But don't you think that's possible? That they've said they like Juice at center, so maybe they put Juice at center. Maybe that's what they're thinking of.
Yeah, that alignment, like that was bad for the pass blocking. So if you want Chris Jones to hump CJ Stroud up and down the field, be my guest. But that alignment was bad for the pass blocking.
Don't you think that's what's happening though?
I mean, there's 15 people in Kansas City. Nobody's tweeted about who's lining up with who in the offensive line. So what are we doing here? What's Kunkel doing? Kunkel!
Yeah, they're not even watching warm-ups, are they? Yeah, where are they at? Ask someone in the press box. Text someone in the press box and say, what's going on in warm-ups? What are we getting? Where are we at? Who's snapping to CJ? What the hell are these guys doing?
I just texted Kunkel.
Aaron's talking to the KC beat reporter, gossiping. Get over there and tell us who's lined up. Although he's already made his report.
Yeah,
Kunkel's putting in some more hair gel and makeup.
He's got his little, what is it?
His makeup brush.
Live report from Will Kunkel. They're inside. Okay. Thanks, Will. Let me know when they're outside. What's it called? Like the little makeup case that the ladies have.
Blush.
Yeah, no, I know that's what it is. What's it like? There's like a specific name for the container that it comes in.
You sure about that?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. That I don't know. They're inside.
They're inside. Thanks.
See what happens when they come out.
Compact. There it is. Keener knows. Keener knows.
On the Chiefs side, this is for all the Russ talk, relatively healthy squad.
Boy, they're about as Chris Jones didn't play in the Steelers game a couple days after the Texans played the Chiefs, and then they've had him iced up. He should be tip-top peak form. They had the running backs a little banged up, and they've had plenty of time to rest anybody of note. They're going to get their left tackle back, it looks like, on this one. He didn't play last time. They had Joe Thuney out there at left tackle, so that means Thuney dumps back down to left guard. So that makes their interior a little stronger. Thuney's really good. I don't know.
Tackle though. We'll see how that goes.
I don't know if they're going to put Humphreys right back out there or not, or if they're going to leave it like they had it.
I don't know. I trust them to make the right decision more in that area more so than the Texans. I know that's really surprising to you. Nick Crawford asks on the super chat, how aggressive do you want the Texans to be on offense early? Not really that aggressive. I don't want them to just run twice and throw, but I don't want them to be like taking shots and just unleashing it.
I also I do want them to be cognizant that Kaimi's not kicking a 60-yard field goal. So if it's 3rd and 7 and you want to run the football and you get it to 4th and 2, that better not be setting up like a kick. That should be setting up a go. If you're in the right part of the field, you're going to need something beyond typical execution to win. It's probably going for it at the appropriate time from a 4th down standpoint.
Michael Moore asks, Stoots, why Landry always get mad when you give him the stats? No, I get mad when he gives me the bull crap stat, like blown block. He knows that was goofy.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry he's not perfect. I'm sorry that it's not perfect, but he's still ranks very highly in that. He's not perfect by your standards.
Chris says Shaq is old and slow.
Didn't know this was Remember the Titans.
So
Landry Boone.
You just worry about your defense.
We will be perfect, except for the offensive line. They can be fat and slow.
You just worry about your defense. I'll handle the offense.
You think Bobby's ever talked back to D'Amico?
No.
Hey,
do you think D'Amico's intense? I don't know that. My concern is not because we don't know the element. My concern is not that D'Amico's some tyrant. I don't look at him like he's Buddy Ryan or some hardo defensive head coach. I just don't know that he knows as much or looks at it both ways as possible. I think D'Amico looks at things one way. I think it's offensive, and I don't think the attention to detail is there. And I think he might trust Bobby a lot. I don't know what the balance is. I don't know the dynamic, so I'm not going to pretend.
I just wonder if
I think D'Amico's expertise is defense, and I think it just kind of shows with the way in which this roster functions and the way they function on game day.
If he says, Coach, I want us to run it here, can Bobby say, let me coach the offense? No, that's not what we're doing.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. And I think I could see a situation where, hey, we got to run the ball, or we got to do this to win, which a lot of defensive coaches, how they kind of lean towards, let's run the ball. We got to run the ball in order to win this ball game. Mm-hmm. I could see that.
Okay, I feel you.
So I don't know. it's going to be interesting to see the approach this offseason, because you obviously can't fix everything in one, but just how they attack.
You damn sure better try
that side of the road. Well, they're going to have to.
You damn sure better try.
I mean, they can't run it back. I mean, there might be some.
Do you like challenges? Probably is not a factor into this, but have you liked D'Amico's go for it, don't go for it, fourth downs for most of the season?
Sometimes I thought there was a couple times where they settled for 50+ yard field goals that they ended up hitting, and I was like, I don't know that that's the way to go. I think there's sometimes where they should settle for the field goal, and they go. And a lot of this isn't even based on result. Like if you follow me, like as soon as there's a fourth down decision, I say what I think would happen, and I don't function in the hey it didn't work world. I just like say what I thought, and that's it. Just to get on record. Like that's the one time where I really like try to tweet. It's not based on result. I don't think it's been bad. I don't think it's been bad. I do think in this case, in this game, I think you can lean towards kicking field goals as opposed to having to keep up with the points.
Well, I think it's very much, how your defense is playing. If it feels like they're leaky early and you got to go get 6, maybe you push the aggression a little bit. But if they're on it and you can live with a couple of 3s, be my guest.
Yeah,
I
think that's interesting. Matt K out in Cali.
Woo!
West side. Shout out to you, my friend. On the soup.
Listen to this spread.
Look at Matt K. Oh my God. Let's see how Matt's living. So he's got the short ribs, sausages, chicken wings, and of course he's got that
high-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets.
He says he's rooting for a big win out here in Santa Cruz, Cali with my son Matthew. Shout out to Matthew and his brother Con. Shout out to Con. Appreciate you guys' hard work on content. Always post game today too, by the way. My voice was dying yesterday. So my wife made something and it was disgusting. I've actually heard of this remedy before, but so she made me a shot of a full lemon, a cayenne pepper, and then something else. And she added some apple cider vinegar to it without telling me. And that sounds awful. It was bad.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of content. We appreciate the great supporters like Matt K, everybody else for the kind words. And there will be lots of content. Win, lose, there's no draw. Win or lose, there'll be lots of content coming your way. So Jason, Matt, appreciate it.
Won't handle the cold 1-15 record.
Let me know what the sides look like too. We got the entrees there, but let me know what the sides look like.
He's on that carnivore.
Maybe Matt K the carnivore like that.
Nah, Matt's got some sort of side. I bet he's got some chips too. I hope they give you a good ball game, my friend.
Yeah. That's what I'm really thinking about too. Like I don't know the exact word, like disaster is too strong, but it will be a little deflating if this divisional round feels a lot like it did last year.
Last year was a good first half, though. Last year was a good first half.
Yeah, but you still ended up realizing you're a long, long way away from the AFC elites. If you kept this one close the whole way through,
you don't feel that way anyway.
Well, the defense got their head kicked in the second half last year. Like if the defense plays well in the second half, this one, and it goes down to the wire, that's a step forward. But if you go into halftime, it's close. You come out of halftime, Patrick Mahomes puts it on you again. Okay, how much better are you actually? Like that's what you're going to ask yourself.
Who makes you most nervous today? Like what player? Like what Texans player do you feel the most nervous about? Like as far as
Shaq Mason.
I would say Shaq Mason. I would say Juice if they put him back at center. Just wonder what that looks like. And Robert Woods. He's been fumbling, man. And it's freezing. And he hasn't been practicing.
Yeah.
Let's go to David. David's on the line. He's got his game face on. What's up, David?
Hey, guys. Just wanted to say, I appreciate what you guys do. I love the show. You guys help me through the workday. every day. So I wanted to point something out that a lot of people probably overlooking. Aziz being back, wasn't available that Chiefs game, that first one. And I really think that game goes a lot different with him in the game. And we saw it last week. I mean, that's the difference between an interception, and him calling the play or not, right? And I don't think people have really, taken that into consideration. So Aziz, I think he's going to be a big factor. Pass rush has to get after it. And yeah, we had the best corner duo, edge duo. That's how Nick has chosen to build this team. And, he's put the money and he's invested in the right places. So everybody's been saying it. It's going to come down to the defense. So I'm ready. I've been stressed all week. I've been breaking out and shit. My heart's beating so fast right now, but I'm ready to get this over with. Either way, go Texans. Landry, I want to shout you out for shouting out Samaje. I'm from Pflugerville. Went to my high school. Underrated ass player, dude. So I don't think I saw somebody in the comments say it was a stupid question. It was not, dude. Way to localize it. Really appreciate you showing him some love because he's a dog for real. But appreciate you guys having me on.
Yep, there you go. That's my
Good
guy
stuff,
right there.
David.
Yeah, I think Samaji is everything that you want in an NFL player, and that's why I thought it was cool for D'Amico because, like,
they don't have a Samaji.
Well, I think he's just one of those guys who's maximized everything that he's been given, and I think he's kind of like the guy. Like, if everyone maximized their God-given talents like Samaji, then I don't think you would have to worry about, I don't think you would have to worry about your players. So that is that. I do think he brings up a good point because you naturally get kind of cynical in these situations. You naturally kind of anticipate the worst. But, like, as much as you can't fix the offense and the defense in one offseason. It doesn't typically happen. Like the Lions, they fixed their offense when they were further on in their process over like a 2-year period. But they did create in the last 2 years, as he said, one of the best edge duos and one of the best corner duos in the NFL. So I do think that is, again, where we shift our attention towards.
Yeah. And Aziz from a organization, make sure everybody's in the right spot, pre-snap, the extension of D'Amico on the field, having guys ready, organized. Not to say that To'o, when he had that role, did a bad job. Aziz is just better at it. He's had more experience doing it. Playoff games, Aziz has played in them. Obviously not in this particular role that he's in for the Texans, but playoff experience with those 49er squads. So it's definitely
something. Like he works hard. You see that the dual screen back there?
Oh yeah, I think there might have been a third one too. He's probably got 3 monitors.
Like right there, my man's. Ari's gaming his ass out. Maybe doing both.
Yeah, maybe both.
Yeah, he had a hell of a setup there. Yeah, I like. So,
Aziz being back is a useful aspect to this defense, and
not mentioned. Really not mentioned.
No, it's kind of taken for granted that he's back and doing what he does, and it is a under focused on element of this defense.
Yeah, and it's not just what he does too, it's what everyone else does around him. I think the best thing about the Texans is I don't think that there's a situation where a team just completely dominates them on the ground. I think if you pull off this upset, there's obviously the quarterback element that is going to be hard to ignore when it comes to quarterbacks using their legs. But like, as far as like just lining up and running the ball, there might be stretches where someone bursts off a run longer, like Tony Pollard gets a 15-yard run and you look at the stats and it says, well, he had 105 yards or whatever. But as far as just gashing you like with the run, I don't think it can happen. And I don't even think it really requires a lot of attention for D'Amico Ryans in the defense to have to worry about. I think they have enough talent up front and in the 7 to where they don't really have to worry about that. And if the Chiefs are going to try to run the ball, cool. Like, awesome. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you want to take the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands and those wide receivers' hands and put it into the hands of Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, be my guest. Like, be my guest. Like, the Chiefs' rushing attack, it's a bottom 12 rushing attack from a yards per game standpoint. They've had some injuries over the course of the season, but they got their 2 guys healthy now. They'll get a couple of tough yards. If they have a lead and they need to shorten things up, they'll try to run it a little bit. But even then, they're so good at short passing. it sort of operates as the rushing attack sometimes. So, and Andy Reid, like, even if he's making a mistake early, like, he's not going to stay in a mistake. Like, if he's running it too much early, or there's a stretch where it feels like he's trusting the run game too much, it's not working, like, he's going to flip out of it. He's a great adjuster. So it's not like they're going to stay in a mistake if they are making a mistake by handing the ball off.
It does appear that they're going to, it's going to stay in the 20s. So there was talk that maybe it would go to the single digits. It looks like the weather's going to stay in the 20s. I don't know how much of a difference that makes. But yeah, it does say it's going to be like, that was what was originally anticipated. It looks like that's kind of where it's going to stay.
Are they thawing out the offensive linemen? Can we get them on the field, please?
You want to see the lineup, don't you?
Yeah, I'm ready to be hurt. I'm ready to be hurt.
I mean, you don't feel great about Juice at guard, though.
I'll feel better about it than Shaq.
Well, we also, like, the other thing is that Caserio said, and this is just us being nerdy ass dudes who pay attention to every word that these guys say, for better or worse. The other thing is that he said that Shaq was, like, clearly a better center, and we were like, okay,
Juice.
like, Juice, my bad. Juice was a better center, and we were like, okay, I guess, like, if you say so. Like, it's kind of look the same-ish on both areas, just kind of like, plays like a quality backup at times. Like, it wouldn't, he just said it so matter-of-factly, like it was almost like common sense or something like that.
Yeah, Juice has been fine. He hasn't justified the draft slot, and they've trusted young guys, and it's not totally been rewarded. Even Patterson's pretty solid at just half the job. Like,
Patterson's a day 3 pick. He's
Sure.
fine. He's perfectly fine. Like, it's not, and eventually we'll get to the point where you just judge guys like not based on their draft status. I think that for me kind of expires after 2 years. Like, 2 years in, you kind of have that, and then it's just like, okay, can this guy be serviceable? Like John Mechie at this point, he should be fighting to make a team. Like, that's kind of where we are, like, in year 3. Hutchinson, it was like, okay, we'll see what he can do next year. He should be fighting to make a team. But with Juice, yeah, like, if this continues, then yeah, second round was way too early.
Right.
And they also, the other thing, like, they didn't even have him compete this year.
Nope.
Like, could the competition, like, have at least, like, helped him somewhat? Like, at least pretending that Jared Patterson had a chance. Like, I'm old enough to remember the days where CJ Stroud wasn't named the starter till like the 3rd preseason game.
No, they went in there with the, I mean, they had their whole offense for a good portion of training camp, minus, Mixon got banged up on like the 3rd day and Tunsil got a late start, but they had 8 of those 11 guys that they wanted on the field for the majority of the training camp, and you saw how useful it was.
I'm jealous of you, Kevin. He's in Vegas. He will be watching the game. I hope to see Sad Chiefs fan at Caesar's Palace. I'm a Caesar's Rewards member. The southeast corner of the strip is my hood. What are you grubbing on is my question. Because I can lead you some ways. He might be like such a Caesar's member that he's going through there. But Herbs and Rye, half price steaks. Can't beat that. If you want some sushi, go to Chinatown Sushi Kaya. Hole in the wall Italian. If you're on a budget, Batista's, walk across the street. Go out through the sportsbook. Go towards the sportsbook. Take a left. Go out through those doors. Go around, and then you can just cross right there to the link. I know the backwoods of everything. But what are you grubbing on, Kev? What are you grubbing?
I like how you had Caesar's Rewards member like it was some exclusive club that you have to be invited to, and not just show your ID at the loyalty desk.
I mean, it's deep enough in the game to where I get free rooms. My mom's already got like 4 days at the Super Bowl. She's going to the Shania Twain concert and stuff. So I mean, it's a little bit deeper. You've rolled with me there. Don't act like a slime ball.
No, but I just if you said, "Hey, I'm a platinum level," like, oh, okay, like that should. The way you said it, you made it sound like you got invited to some exclusive club.
Dude, I'm just saying I've been in the Caesars game for a while.
Herman asks, is Christian Harris playing? Yes, he's playing.
Yes. How much is Christian Harris playing? That is an interesting question. I don't know what's going on there. I think he plays a lot. He should have had a touchdown last game. And that's the other thing. Like with all this talk about last game, I don't know that every officiating crew makes the call they did on the Texans strip sack fumble return.
Should have had a touchdown. Henry?
What? Oh yeah, Toto. Yeah, Toto took it in, not Harris.
Yeah.
Toto took it in. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Same college.
If it's two linebackers, they're going to put Azeez and Henry on the field. That's who they trust more. It felt like, and that's what they did last week. There should be opportunities for Christian Harris. I just don't know how many there will be. And obviously, if Henry's not getting it done, they've got Christian Harris that they can go to. So Herman, appreciate the super chat. Thank you.
Yep. We'll see how that goes. But if they hadn't made that call, then touchdown Texans, and maybe the game's a little bit different.
Well, yeah, I think I definitely feel like they win that game if that gets called different.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a call that every officiating crew makes. There's been a lot made of like the officiating crew. It just kind of feels NBA to me, kind of uncomfortable with like this referee and that referee and all that. So
Robert Woods is catching punts pregame for the Texans, and Miles Bryant is also catching punts. So it looks like Miles Bryant, the nickel cornerback, is the backup punt returner.
Has he got juice?
That from Sam.
Has Miles got juice?
Warren from the Chronicle.
You can count on Sam. Shout out to Sam. Thank you for looking at that.
Sam's kind of being a softie because he's doing it from the press box. He's not on the field. So maybe it's a little cold for him, but he is giving the info. So at Sam Warren _3, Sam added to the Texans beat this year for the Chronicle. Is good job.
Syracuse guy. Remember when I saved his life his first day?
That happened.
And got no credit.
I mean,
I didn't ask for it. I got texts from individuals, but I kind of thought I deserved an award for the performance I put on. I did it out of the goodness of my heart. I wasn't trying to look for it, but I don't feel like I got the respect. Cody didn't do anything.
I mean, you tried to waterboard him with a Gatorade, but save his life is kind of an interesting way to put it.
I kind of got him hydrated, and he kind of fell, and I kind of immediately rushed there. But yeah,
yeah, it's like the CIA took notes on how you waterboarded him, so it's like,
yeah, that did not happen. But some people just don't. Selfless servant leaders like myself just kind of
Jack.
Just kind of handle their business.
Okay, Jack. Fearless rescuer, Landry Locker.
I was on the scene. You know that. I was on the scene. What were you doing?
Watching you choke the kid.
Choke the kid. Choke the kid.
You and Kunkel jumped in there like it's an episode of ER.
What did Kunkel do?
Kunkel's right there with you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can count on Kunkel. Can't count on Cody.
What was I going to do? I don't know CPR. I don't know what. I'm not going to drown him with Gatorade.
It wasn't CPR.
What the hell was I going to do? You stop short of getting the paddles out. You try to bring him back to life. Kunkel, 300, clear. The best was Caserio. Caserio just goes, can we call medical?
Yeah, he fainted. The heat was a lot for him. But luckily he had his backpack on so he didn't hit his head.
Yeah, that worked out good for him.
Got him up, did his thing. He's been on the beat since.
Yeah, he's been crushing it. He's doing a great job.
Cody's like ordering from like
stupid.
He's like ordering a pizza from a Domino's. You don't know when it's gonna arrive. Go at its own pace. Who knows? I'm like a Little Caesars. I'm hot and ready. When it comes to lifestyle, I'm hot and ready.
Yeah. Is that the case?
Why is everyone trying to bring back beat reporters? We got bring back Cabina, bring back Aaron Reese. What's going on there?
I'd take Cabina back. How? I mean, Brooks's head might have exploded about 5 different times this year if he covered this team.
Nah, because a lot of stuff wouldn't have flown if he'd been here. You dig?
But you know how he gets sometimes.
Oh, he's a very high-strung individual, but I feel like a lot of that was created by the organization at the time. The organization's gotten a little better team.
The who's calling who's calling the defensive plays storyline from last year. And Brooks was asking every week until they told him.
Yeah, they were getting mad about that. I thought it was solid reporting by him.
Matt Burke still jokes about it sometimes. Oh,
Matt
man.
Burke's a joker. Joker, your guy. So we're about 40 minutes till kick. We appreciate everyone for rolling through. I'm gonna get ready to cover this thing. I know you're gonna get ready to cover this thing. Houston football, locker room post game show.
CJ's cleats look sweet.
Well, at least he's got some good shoes. That's good.
Oh, here comes Landry. Can't be happy about anybody dressing nice.
No, he's got some good shoes. I want to see him perform.
If CJ sucks, Landry's going to blame the shoes.
Let's see those cleats. Let me see them. Show them to the people.
I'm pulling it up.
No, I don't. I'm not worried about his shoes. You're the one playing fashion. I'm ready for the playoffs.
I should have spent more time in the film room and not in the wardrobe.
Okay.
It's pretty snazzy.
Those cleats long enough?
It might just be the warm-up cleats. It might not be what he's playing
Yeah,
with.
those cleats long enough?
I don't
Make
know.
sure we're good there.
Remember when they fired the equipment guy and JJ tweeted about it?
Yeah, Easterby did. Tried to call him out.
Man, those days are gone. Isn't it fun to be talking about a divisional round playoff game? Back-to-back years.
I like those cleats. Those aren't bad.
That bald bastard's not got anything to do with it.
Nope.
Man, that's
It's not. No Jack Easterby. Someone said he had an article the other day in the Chronicle. What was it? I didn't.
No, so someone at the Sports Business Journal interviewed him, and then the Chronicle covered some of the highlights from the conversation.
Okay. Because I don't see why he would, in his wildest dreams, even him, with as stupid as he is, would even think about doing like a Chronicle feature at this point in his life.
No. He was more about directing who Chronicle features should be done about.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And then I did see this. I guess the the Sports Business Journal declined to do any interviews talking about the Jack Easterby interview.
What?
Okay. Sure.
That kind of seems like they declined, or like that seems like weird journalism all the way around.
Well, I just don't. You do a Q&A with Jack Easterby, like who?
Yeah,
what?
like so then did someone from the Chronicle hit him up and say, "Hey, would you like to comment on your story?" And it's like, "No, I'm going to stand by my story. I don't know what you want from me." And then they put in the story that they declined to interview, almost as if it's like they did something or something like that. That's like, from like a journalism nerd, that's kind of weird all the way around to me. Like on the Chronicle's end, am I out of bounds on that? Who did the story? So I'm doing this blindly. I'm not.
So the Sports Business Journal did the story.
Right.
The author from that story, it was Jeremy Branham asked if he come on the show to talk about it. And the author from the story declined to come on the show to talk about the story.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, a lot of writers aren't really like radio guys. I thought you were saying like the Chronicle did that. Yeah.
No.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, we have your offensive line update according to Will Kunkel. He's got video proof.
Pull it up.
Of extreme disappointment.
Pull it up.
Jesus.
Pull up. I'm going to pull up on it.
Are you ready?
Better than a bank. Go ahead.
You ready? Son of a bitch.
Okay, so Juice got benched.
So Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, Titus Howard at left guard, Jared Patterson at center, Shaq Mason at right guard, and Blake Fisher at right tackle. Aaron Wilson was correct.
Okay, so Shaq's out there.
And soon to be fired, Chris Strausser.
Okay. Damn, Shaq's kind of moving good. Shaq might have got a shot. Look at that. He's kind of moving well.
I can't believe
I'm actually on board with this. Look at that.
I can't believe this.
False start by Titus. Damn it.
We're going Shaq was moving well. Look at how he moves compared to everybody else.
Oh, look at this, dude. This dude's ready. Look at that.
He looks
That's
like he's already
long
played
right
2
there.
quarters.
That's an 8-yard gain right there on first down. Look at this. Hit. Look at that.
So that's something.
Okay,
That's
maybe
something.
they made the right decision.
That's something to watch here. If
Hit.
Titus is going to do the tap, or if Titus is going to do
look at Titus.
Shut up! I'm trying to make a real point here.
Titus is almost falling down,
Titus has to signal the center because it's silent count,
but he's almost falling down.
and Shaq can't do it because the way Shaq aligns. Titus talked to me about this last year. So that's something to watch if Titus is going to do the touch or if Titus is going to do the little hand out in front.
Oh, we're getting in the sticks now.
Shaq Mason start.
Cody Stoots. Look at Cody Stoots breaking it down for you, the silent count. You won't get that anywhere else.
Well, just pay attention.
Look at that. Football hardo breaking down the silent count.
It's important. I don't know why you're making fun of me.
Look at that.
It's important. I don't know why you're
That
making
was
fun of me.
awesome, Cody.
I don't know why you're making
That
fun
guy
of me.
must know football.
I should have just let you get your shitty joke off instead of making actual observation.
I was just watching him get off the line, get off the ball, man.
Yeah. He looked like me getting up for my 7th serving at the Chinese buffet.
Well, you must be eating light because I've seen you at Chinese buffets.
I didn't say last. I said 7th.
Going to Stoots with buffets is tough, man.
Well, because you eat fast and want to leave, and I take my time.
Because I just don't want to be around the food after I'm all full and stuff. And then you're just like taking your time trying to savor it. Like you like being around this food. And I'm like, and I'm not sitting here saying I eat any less, like I'm piling it up, but it's like, Cody, I've already eaten this. Let's get the hell out of here. We got to treat this like prison. Let's get the hell out of here. I don't want to be around this food right now.
It's one of the buffet is one of the great American examples of freedom and excellence in this country. There are countries all over the world where food is not readily accessible. And we can go to a establishment, eat cuisines from all over the world in copious amounts. I'm going to sit there, savor it, and enjoy my freedom, Landry.
Yeah.
David White says, this organization is so unserious. For the
Why?
Shaq
What'd they
Mason-
do? Oh, the Shaq?
For the Shaq start.
It's
For the
that
Shaq
serious? Yeah, it is. I mean, it is weird. I don't know about unserious. They're blindly loyal to a lot of weird guys on offense. That is true.
Went from Shaq Mason to buffets.
Well,
no other show in the
Don't know
world
if it's
giving
too
you
off
that.
topic. Don't know if it's too off topic though.
No other show in the world's giving you that transition.
Someone says buffet food is questionable. That's true. We know that.
Black Eighth Element with a phrase that I've heard before.
Okay.
I've been kicked out.
You've been kicked out of a buffet?
Oh yeah, they've determined I've had enough.
Where?
It was Lambeau over there in Westheimer.
Now, did you think you really had enough, or did you think that maybe they were discriminating? Did you think maybe they just assumed that you had?
I'd had enough.
How long were you there?
I was coming up on 2 hours.
You got cut off at a buffet.
Yeah. I also killed nearly a whole bottle of soy sauce.
See, I've been cut off, but not like for behavior, just for amount. You've been with me where I'm at Pluckers and they're like, excuse me, sir, you've had 7 of these big ones. I'm just chilling. I'm not even like anything. I'm like, hey, you don't have to make I'm not being loud. I'm just kind of hanging out. I've had 7 of the large beers. They're like, there's a limit.
Well, they're supposed to do that.
Yeah, but I wasn't doing anything crazy.
No, but like
the guy on his second beer is over there screaming and yelling and acting dumb. I'm sitting here chilling.
I agree with you. I'm just saying they should have checked before the 7th one.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out. Like I'm not doing anything, and you're acting like I did something crazy.
Oh,
you're
remember
not cutting me off based on behavior.
Remember the time our server was done, so we tipped them out, and then we went and sat at the bar, and they tried to make it seem like we got cut off, and then we were trying to go to the bar to get more drinks. It's like, no, we had 1 drink over there, and the server was done.
Yeah, y'all did that. Y'all did that server thing where you say, "Hey, can you cut me off?" And I think it's good because I do want to tip you for being there. I have no problem with it. Some people whine about it. They're like, "Oh, I got to tip the other person out." No, I get it. Like you did what you did. And then we just said, okay, well, we'll move because it's a full table and there's people waiting. It's a line, so go there. They're acting like I'm trying to sneak a beer. Brother, I could go to the gas station right there and get a couple of these, man. Like, I don't like you're acting like I'm some sort of scumbag, making like a big deal about it. Like, come on, man. Anyway.
Arts by Beware says, y'all crack me up.
Yeah.
We do have some comedy elements to us.
So we got Shaq Mason starting at guard.
Damn it.
We got JJ Taylor inactive. We got about 30 minutes till kickoff. And we got some cold weather in KC. Anything else that we need to add before we get ready to follow this thing?
Some of the I did see some people ask if you had any props for this one.
I do. Let me pull those up on the phone. So my props today are
I like Nico to score a touchdown.
okay. What is that? 3-1?
No, I think it's like let me see here. Let me get you up to date number on it. But he didn't score a touchdown last time, but I like him to score a touchdown this time.
Okay.
Last time against Kansas City. Obviously, he scored last week because the Chargers somehow inexplicably couldn't cover him.
All right. So I got
plus 150 for a Nico touchdown. So
yeah.
Oh, that's okay. All right.
That's cool.
No. Sorry, prop god. Go ahead.
I'm not a prop god.
Sorry, prop god. Go ahead.
So I have a 25 to win 550. This is a long shot. Although I've hit these before.
Get the notepads out, folks.
Will Anderson over a half sack.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Are you kidding me? All the criticism you give me for sack props, and you're putting a sack prop in your big
4 sacks on there, Cody. You're
putting a sack prop.
Sacks.
I did not put 4. I put 3. I put Hunter, Will Anderson, and Chris Jones in a sack prop. That's not that crazy.
That was too much.
You two-timing son of a bitch.
All right, so Will Anderson over a half sack. Hollywood Brown touchdown.
Okay, I like that.
Hutchinson over 16 yards.
It's a low number.
And then first half over 20.5.
For just first half total?
Yeah, that's 25 to win 550. Anderson half sack, Hollywood touchdown, Hutchinson over 17 yards. Texans over 16.5 points. I didn't put that in. And then total points 20.5 in the first half. I don't think that's a bad long shot, 25-550.
I think your toughest one there is probably Hollywood, just because they have so many different options.
Right. That's for sure. And that's why it's 25 to win 550. The rest of the stuff, who knows? I have Mixon touchdown and Hollywood touchdown 13 to win 100.
Ooh.
I have CJ over 1.5 passing TDs, 35 to win 66.
Hollywood's plus 280. That's pretty snazzy.
Hollywood over 39.5 yards and Mixon over 2.5 receptions.
Hollywood's had 48 and 46 in his 2 games back, so that's pretty good. And then Mixon, the week we talked about receptions, God, that's got to be over.
Yeah, you would think, right?
I would hope so.
Yeah, one would think.
I would hope so.
But you never know. So we'll see how that goes. But you had multiple guys with sacks, but yeah, that's fine. Cap says, go off, Cody. He always does, man. It's okay.
Might put together a little sack parlay right now.
Are we commentating throughout the game? No, we're not. We're watching the game. Got to watch the ball game. Commentating after the game. I got to rest my voice during the game. Might go have that shot again.
Ugh.
The cayenne.
I thought you got better. Like you were sick, and then you got better.
Cough came back.
Sick again.
Cough came back, but don't feel sick. So the cough is still there, but didn't get sick. So I think I just stopped medicating as much. But no, I feel fine.
Maybe we shouldn't walk around in the cold rain with no jacket.
No, I already had the cough when I did that.
Okay.
That's a character builder. That builds up your immune system if you walk outside like that.
While you're already sick, it sounds like a good move.
Yeah, it builds up the character.
Yeah,
What if
I'd
you're
like
having an emergency? You know what I find myself thinking every time it's really cold?
to see a doctor back you up on that.
I always think about like how cold it is, and I think about how Jack died in Titanic, like on the ice cube when or on the chair when that bitch could have given him some space and just let him die. Rose.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up. I give you the little backstory on this. A lot of people are like, oh, there's room on it was a door. There's room on the door. Like, why didn't he get on?
I already watched this on YouTube where they made a case that he wouldn't have been able to fit because of the balance. I watched this.
They literally tried it in the movie. It started to sink.
No, but there were other stuff floating around to where she could have done something. And also, why the hell did she throw the diamond away that he got her? What did that prove?
Buddy, I don't know.
At the end.
She's an old lady. She's probably senile.
Dude, she's obviously not senile. She told a 3-hour story in depth with every memory.
Yeah, why should I mean that's an unreliable narrator.
I mean, I thought she was pretty detailed.
Yeah, who's going to corroborate her story? If your mom tells you she loves you, fact check her. Anybody that could tell me that this story was true is dead. Oh, okay. I just believe you, Grandma.
Yeah, I feel like they could have made some space there, but it's what it is.
I don't know why you didn't grab another piece of, driftwood.
Yeah, it feels like they kind of gave up a little. I mean, it did look cold. I will give that, but
it didn't seem like there was a lot to. It didn't seem like there was a hopeful situation. No,
at all. Did I call her a B? I did. I thought Rose was a B. Yes, I did. She's not as bad as Jenny, but yes, I did. I think Jenny's the worst human being in the world. Like that is not even like she's
Jenny in Forrest Gump.
Oh my God, what a terrible lady she is. She gives him AIDS, or almost tries to give him AIDS. She keeps his son from him for 7 years. And then when she finally realizes that she has the clap, she tells him about it and acts like nothing happens. Like she's the worst. Yeah. Let's go to T. Shout out to T, man. He's always in here.
T-Man. What's up, man?
What's going on, guys?
Fire away.
Man, I'm quietly kind of feeling good about this game. I think their offense, it's a very meticulous offense, but it's not a big play offense. And I think big plays is what can undo this defense. Like you saw the Lad McConkey touchdown last week against the Ravens. It was just 15-yard run, 15-yard run, 15-yard run, right? So I think if we can keep Mahomes contained, which is easier said than done, and then Will and Daniil get to Mahomes and hopefully, make him a little bit iffy, then I think we can win. But yeah, it's not going to be an offensive win, that's for sure.
Nope. I mean,
I think that's true. I appreciate you for rolling through, man. I just don't know if I think their offense has. I don't think we've seen the best of their offense, if that makes sense. I agree with what he's saying. I just don't know that we've seen the best of it yet. It kind of scares me a little bit more than it maybe should.
You think Casey could get going?
I don't know if they could get going. I just don't we haven't seen them all together. So it scares me more than it should, but it's not like completely terrifying.
Yeah, I think they have multiple weapons, which is one thing, right? Like they got Nuke, they got Hollywood Brown, obviously Kelsey's good. They don't have like a star receiver.
Right.
In that case, like Tyreek Hill they had a few years ago. So they're going to do a lot of guys are going to be targeted, different guy every play kind of thing. So Texans defense needs to pay attention today that this guy might get the ball 3 times, but then they might give it to this guy now, right? So they got to be, very aware. And I think, oh man, I'm worried that Spags is such a good defensive coordinator and Bobby's not a good offensive coordinator. Spags is he's gonna make Bobby's brain in a blender today. That's my worry. So our defense needs to win this one for us and special teams, because I think there's a blocked kicker punt today for the Texans.
Oh,
okay.
I like that.
Okay. I like that little Frank Ross call. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, T. My guy right there.
Good stuff.
Good breakdown.
Yep.
Good breakdown. Jay says Hollywood is 570 yard this season. How is he a weapon? Look at the games played, my friend, and how much they've really put him in the offense. Yeah, he missed quite a large chunk.
And
What would
please,
570 be on the Texans?
Hollywood Brown would immediately be the second best pass catching option on this.
But statistically, even like if you're just looking at the 570, which obviously there's gray area there. Who knows? I like the way he broke it down.
Let's see, 570. It'd be behind Tank Dell, but ahead of Dalton Schultz.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, let's watch the game. Let's get ready for this. It's going to be fun. We appreciate everyone for rolling through.
Yep.
We appreciate you for riding along. This was a fun exercise. Maybe we'll get to do it next week. But it's going to be interesting. The talk is going to end. We're going to see how this Texans defense holds up. The offense. Shout out to everyone on the supers. Shout out to Cody Stoots, the buffet violator. And shout out to y'all. Talk to you on post game. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together.
Eat good. You guys know I do. Sleep good. Be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.